This happened about a year ago on my first time camping completely alone. Not at a crowded campground, not near families, arborvors, or noisy groups. Just me, the woods, and silence. I used to think I was an experienced camper. I had done everything: setting up tents, cooking outdoors, staying overnight. But there was always one difference: there were always people around. This time, I wanted something else, something quieter, something real. So I picked a trail about 2 hours long, leading deep into a forest campsite. There weren't many pictures online, no reviews, just a trail disappearing into trees. That should have been my first warning. I started hiking a few hours after sunrise. The parking lot was barely even a parking lot, just a small dirt clearing off the road. And it was completely empty. No cars, no people, just me. For the first 30 minutes, everything felt normal. Birds chirping, wind through the trees, that peaceful, calm feeling you go out there for. But then I saw him. A man walking ahead on the trail, far enough that I almost didn't notice him, but close enough that I caught up to him within a minute. That's when something felt off. He was walking painfully slow, not tired slow, not casual slow, deliberate, like he was waiting. Normally, I wouldn't pass someone. I'd slow down, give them space. But this guy was moving so slowly, I didn't really have a choice. So I walked up beside him and said, "Hey." And that's when it got weird. The second I got next to him, he matched my pace perfectly. Turned to me, smiled, started talking like we'd known each other for years. He stuck out his hand and said, "Name's Oscar." I shook it, but something in my gut didn't feel right. Still, we talked for about 30 minutes, and honestly, he seemed normal, too normal. I noticed he didn't have a backpack, so I asked. He said his camp was already set up, deeper in the woods. Then he told me something that stuck with me. He said he camps out here all the time, that it's perfect for newcomers. Then he invited me to come by later, have dinner at his campfire. Looking back now, that's where I made the mistake. I said yes. We eventually reached the main camping area. I set up my tent. Oscar kept walking, disappearing into the trees. I couldn't even see where he went. The rest of the day, nothing. No hikers, no campers, no Oscar. Just silence. It wasn't until the sun started going down that he came back, walking out of the trees like he'd been watching the whole time. He asked if I wanted to come over. I agreed, even though something in my head was telling me not to. I followed him. Deeper and deeper, much farther than I expected. Far enough that I knew I wouldn't find my way back easily in the dark. Then I saw the fire glowing between the trees. But when we got closer, my stomach dropped. Oscar wasn't alone. There were two other men sitting around a fire. He never mentioned them. Not once. They all greeted me, smiling, like nothing was wrong. But everything felt wrong. We sat down. They were cooking ramen over the fire. Simple, quiet, normal, too normal. At first, we made small talk, but then silence. The forest had gone completely quiet. No wind, no insects, nothing. And every time I looked at them, they'd quickly look away, like I'd caught them staring. That's when I knew something wasn't right. So I stood up and said, "Hey, I'm gonna grab something from my bag. Save me a bowl." No response. Oscar didn't even look up. The other two just stared at me. I turned and started walking. Slow at first, trying not to make it obvious. Then I heard movement behind me. I looked back. The two men were now standing, watching me. Oscar still sat there, staring into the fire. I didn't wait. I turned and kept walking, faster now. And then that feeling hit me. That horrible instinctual fear that someone is right behind you. I didn't want to look, but I had to. When I finally turned around, I was far from the campsite, but I could still see the fire through the trees. The logs were there. The fire was still burning, but the men were gone. All three of them. That's when I ran. I sprinted all the way back to my camp. Didn't even pack properly. Didn't care about anything I left behind. I just ran. Through the dark, through the trees, all the way back to my car. And when I finally drove away, I called the police. They checked the area. But here's the part that still haunts me. There were no other cars. Those men didn't drive there, which means they had been out there for who knows how long, waiting. And I can't prove what they were planning, but I know one thing for sure. If I had stayed at that campfire, I don't think I would have made it out. I went camping alone for the first time last summer. I picked a quiet forest where not many people go. That's exactly what I wanted: peace and silence. When I got there, there were only two other tents far away. That made me feel safe enough. I set up my tent near some trees, not too far from the trail. Everything felt normal. I cooked food, watched the sunset, and just relaxed. When it got dark, the forest became very quiet, too quiet. But I told myself that's how forests are at night. So I went inside my tent and tried to sleep. After some time, I woke up. I don't know why, but something felt wrong. Then I heard it: footsteps. Slow, careful footsteps outside my tent. At first, I thought it might be an animal, but no, these sounded like human footsteps. They walked around my tent once, then stopped. I stayed completely still. I didn't even breathe loudly. After a few seconds, I heard something else. A zipper, not mine, another zipper. My heart started beating fast. There shouldn't be any other tents this close. I slowly opened my eyes. I could see the shadow of something outside my tent. Another tent, right next to mine. But I knew for a fact there was no tent there before. I didn't hear anyone set it up. No sound, no movement, nothing. I tried to listen carefully. No voices, no movement, just silence. Then suddenly, I heard whispering. Very quiet, too quiet to understand, but it was coming from inside that tent. I felt frozen. I didn't know what to do. After a few minutes, I slowly reached for my phone. I turned on the flashlight. For a moment, I thought about opening my tent just to check. But something in my mind screamed, don't. So I stayed inside, waiting, listening. After what felt like hours, I finally fell asleep. When I woke up in the morning, the sun was shining, birds were chirping, everything felt normal again. I quickly opened my tent and looked outside. There was nothing there. No second tent, no footprints, no signs anyone had been there. Just empty ground. I packed my things immediately, as fast as I could. Before leaving, I walked over to the other campers, far away. I asked them if anyone else came during the night. They looked confused. One of them said, "We thought you were alone out here." I didn't say anything after that. I just left. But even now, I still think about that night because I know what I heard. I know what I saw. And the scariest part is, if there was no tent there in the morning, then where did the whispering come from?